Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Instant analysis, 3 major factors in Warriors' statement win over Pelicans. The Golden State Warriors continued a string of good fortune this week with a win over Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and the New Orleans Pelicans. After a back-and-forth in the first half, with both sides exchanging blows, the Warriors pulled away with a big third quarter to secure the 124-106 win over their Western Conference rivals. Stephen Curry missed the game tonight with an ankle injury, but the Warriors hardly missed his presence out there with several of their trusted scorers stepping up to fill Steph's shoes. Buddy Hield led the Warriors with 28 points and 3 steals on 7-11 shooting from 3. Brandon Podziemski was behind him with 19 points, 8-18 FG, and 5 assists in 33:32 minutes. Moses Moody, who got the start in place of Jonathan Kuminga, finished with 17 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist on 75.9% shooting. Finally, 3x champion Draymond Green had 3 points and 7 assists in 28:30 minutes. For the Pelicans, Ingram and Williamson were the only ones who showed up to play. With 31 points, 12-19 FG, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists, Zion was the leading scorer of the game and he nearly led a comeback in the second half before the Warriors pulled away. Ingram dropped 30 points, 12-17 FG, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 70.6% shooting. The duo were the only ones from their team to score in double figures. It was an interesting matchup, to say the least, and it's not the result you'd expect for a team without their superstar. Somehow, the Warriors were able to respond sans Curry, moving to 3-1 on the season and proving themselves as a formidable opponent in the West. Here are some major takeaways from the game and what other factors played a role in the shocking result. Buddy Hield's complicated past has haunted him since arriving in Golden State, but he's been nothing but heroic for his new team on the court. This season, he's averaging 19.0 points, 5.0 rebounds, and 3.0 assists per game on an amazing 52% shooting from 3. He's 8th in three-pointers made this season, with an average of 4.3 makes per game. Tonight, Buddy had arguably his best game yet as a Warrior, and it opened up the floor for the rest of his teammates. As he drained threes all night, 7 in 28:48 minutes, the Pelicans struggled to keep it contained and were eventually overwhelmed by the Warriors scoring in the second half. While Buddy is no Klay Thompson, he's been on fire since his debut earlier this month, and it sparked new life in the Golden State Warriors, who finished 10th in the West a season ago. If Hield can shoot like this all season, this team may end up being a bigger threat than we all thought. Outside of Ingram and Williamson, the Pelicans didn't get much in the way of scoring. But it was the exact opposite for the Warriors, who had multiple guys step up to deliver their best game of the year. The reserves combined to score 54 points, including Lindsey Waters III, who had the game of his life off the bench with 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Jonathan Kuminga was one of the biggest stories of the game after it was announced that he'd be coming off the bench in favor of Moses Moody. Warriors fans didn't like the move, but Kuminga responded well off the bench with 17 points and crucial defensive plays all night. In the past, depth has been a problem for the Warriors, and it was certainly the case last year when they failed to come out of the play-in. This time, they seem to have some more support all around from both familiar and unfamiliar sources. Warriors vs Pelicans player grades, Lindsey Waters III and Buddy Hield saved the day. The Golden State Warriors had arguably their most impressive win of the young NBA season on Tuesday night, knocking off the visiting New Orleans Pelicans. Despite the absences of superstar Steph Curry, starter Andrew Wiggins, and key veteran DeAnthony Melton, and despite losing the first quarter 31-14, the Warriors put on a show to earn their first home win of the year and improve to 3-1. Behind a spectacular showing of defense and threes, the Warriors won each of the final 3 quarters by double digits, en route to an emphatic 124-106 win. There's no time to celebrate, though, as they're back in the lab to face the very same Pelicans team in the very same arena at the very same time. Until then, all we can do is grade the performances. As always, grades are based on my expectations for each player, with a B grade representing the average performance for that player. It was clear that if the Warriors were going to win without Curry, it would have to include a strong defensive performance. And even though the Dubs got kicked in the mouth in the first frame, Green still set the tone defensively by making life hard on Pelicans star Zion Williamson. Williamson had a decent game. He finished with an efficient 31 points, but turned the ball over 8 times, but I thought Green played him magnificently. The shots he did make against Draymond were incredibly difficult attempts. As they say, great offense beats great defense. It was also Dre's best playmaking game, with 7 dimes against no turnovers. Setting up his teammates was vital with Curry out, but keeping the Warriors from getting sloppy and turning the ball over was arguably even more important. TJD showed off how quickly he's learned the system, and how intuitive of a player he is, with some amazing playmaking in this game. The 5 assists in just 17 minutes pretty accurately reflect how smart he was with the ball. That said, he wasn't much of a factor scoring, and he got bullied a bit in the paint, both on defense and on the glass. The Dubs got out-rebounded 44-35, and he played a part in that. After a 1.5-game hiatus, the Healed who starred in the first 2 games of the year showed up with a vengeance. With the Warriors losing so much spacing with Curry and Wiggins out, Steve Kerr inserted Healed into the starting lineup, and it initially did not go well at all. He forced some shots, and missed others that we've grown accustomed to, and at halftime had a lowly 3 points on 1-for-8 shooting. When the second half began, Healed was no longer in the starting 5, as Kerr had turned to the hot hand. But that didn't keep him from being the star of the half, as he erupted for 25 points on 8-for-10 shooting, with 19 of those points coming in the fourth quarter, where the Warriors pulled away from the Pelicans. On the TNT broadcast, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller said that he had a halftime talk with Healed, though he didn't divulge what was said. Maybe the Warriors can find out what it was though, so they can recreate it. While Healed didn't fill up the rest of the stat sheet, he did play phenomenal defense, as part of a highly active team effort. Keep it up, buddy. Barkley caught disparaging Warriors in pre-game hot mic gaffe. Charles Barkley never has been one to suppress his opinions, and especially those about the Warriors. But even he might not have meant for the world to hear his comments about Golden State before the team's game against the New Orleans Pelicans on Tuesday night, as the TNT analyst was caught on a hot mic when Inside the NBA went to a commercial break. "Yo man, Golden State stinks," Barkley was heard saying. To be fair, the sentiment is one Barkley probably wouldn't be afraid to say on air, either. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer said the Warriors stink in an interview with the Jim Jackson Show earlier this month, and Barkley even has taunted Golden State fans to their faces in the past. To put it bluntly, Barkley is a well-known Bay Area hater. And while it's unclear if his hot mic gaffe was intentional or not, there certainly are no questions about his true feelings. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Charles Barkley? Leave your opinion in the comments.